Welcome, everybody, once again to the Credit Bank Small Business Spotlight, where we spotlight inspiring business owners. We're going to learn their stories and they're going to share what drives their success. This episode is brought to you by Credit Bank, where you can get up to $500,000 in working capital with monthly payments in less time than it takes you to drive to the bank. I'm your host, Irv Cruz, and I am joined by Amber Gaige. She is the founder of Far Beyond Marketing. Amber, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure and privilege, Irv. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic. Now that I have you, I can feel your energy. I think we're going to have a fun time here, and I think our listeners are going to get to learn something as well. So let's start from the beginning. Why did you start Far Beyond Marketing?
Let's start from the very beginning. Yes, it's a very good place to start, as they say in The Sound of Music.
Yes.
Irv, I started Far Beyond Marketing because as a third generation entrepreneur, I became very well aware of how often busy business owners were investing in bad marketing. And quite frankly, with a lifetime in family business and in entrepreneurship, then followed by a stint in private equity, I felt a calling to go back to my roots and serve my fellow entrepreneurs with transparency to say, we can protect you from bad marketing. We can give you the analysis, the insight, the flexibility that you need to grow your business at the rate that you desire. Really putting the business owner in the driver's seat of their marketing, but still being a strategic partner with them as well. So that's the genesis behind why I started my company and really the mission behind how my team and I do what we do.
So I generally actually pose that as a question. What problem does your business solve? But you mentioned bad marketing. So share with our listeners what exactly bad marketing is in your view.
Sure. Well, in a nutshell, bad marketing is any marketing you do that doesn't give you more business, right?
You're right.
Doesn't
Okay,
increase
that
your
makes
brand
sense.
awareness. Yeah, I think every dollar has a purpose in business, and I think that there's a beautiful synergy between marketing and branding and operations. So
Right.
marketing should be the gasoline that makes the car go. And when you have marketing that is not aligned with the operational goals of the business, you might as well just set those dollar bills on fire.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes absolute sense, and very important to realize and understand if you're a business owner. So you're a marketing expert. So what did you do to market yourself and get your name out there in a space that may be somewhat saturated? So how did you market yourself, and what did you do to distinguish yourself from the rest?
Sure. Yeah, it's a great question. And I believe it is incredibly saturated. Everyone, it's kind of like real estate, right? Everyone knows someone who's a real estate agent, right?
Right.
Everyone knows someone who can do marketing. For me, as an entrepreneur's daughter, I knew that I could serve other entrepreneurs well. So I branded myself as an entrepreneurial centric marketing company. I also wrote an international best-selling book to help people to understand that I was all about empowering them with the tools and insights that they could have. I do a lot of keynote speaking, and then I have a lead generating course that we give to entrepreneurs as well to educate them or their team members on the basics of marketing. So those are the ways that I market myself and try to distinguish myself from other agency owners. And I also stay true to my niche, which is the self-employed individual. We work with a lot of franchisees. I was
Okay.
on a podcast recently called The Unpredictable Entrepreneur, where people are starting franchise businesses later in life. So we really do strive to be an empowering strategic partner for entrepreneurs when it comes to marketing.
And how long has Far Beyond Marketing been in business?
Oh my goodness, we've been around since 2013.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. 12
Yeah.
years. So when you were launching Far Beyond, was it capital intensive? And if so, because when you're starting a business, it may be tough to secure the financing needed to launch your dream. So how did
Mhm.
you manage that early
It absolutely is difficult to secure the financing. I think there's a lot of wonderful tools and opportunities for entrepreneurs to do that. I was blessed to be in an entrepreneurial family, so I did have startup costs that were funded through other business entities that my family owned and operated.
Wonderful.
My family owns 5 different businesses. And the first foray of Far Beyond Marketing was actually a very different kind of agency, which was a national lead generating publication. And so I started with no clients and no employees, so built it from the ground up. And then I was
Wonderful.
very fortunate to sell that company in 2018 to private equity, and thereby step out of the business and then relaunch the business a few years later, after the non-compete expired. So my journey has not been typical from, say, most.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it certainly sounds different from some of the stories I've heard from other marketers that I've had on the channel. Um, what would you say is or was your biggest challenge or hurdle when you were launching Far Beyond? And equally as important, how did you overcome those challenges?
Oh my goodness. We don't have enough time on your show to talk about all the challenges and
We might have to
issues and
do a part two.
we should. Yes, all the mistakes that we make and when we are early business owners. Number one, I think the mental aspect of starting a business can sometimes be the greatest stumbling block. So, understanding that you as a business owner, and in my case, me as an agency launcher, had a unique voice and perspective to bring to the saturated market, and really overcoming the imposter syndrome, that there was room in the market for me. That was the
Mm,
first major hurdle I had to overcome, Irv. And I did it by the support of loved ones, by a fantastic business coach. I have a saying that I tell everyone needs a great therapist and a great business coach, and they're not the same thing. So that was
right,
probably the first hurdle.
right. Are you a meditator?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, because that allows you
Journaling.
to just center yourself and really just dig deep inside on what's there. And there's also a thing called shadow work. I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Yes. I've heard of that.
So what's your experience with that?
It's rather limited, but I do think it's incredibly powerful. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it is because you get to dive deep into
Yeah.
yourself and but that also helps you really understand and embrace your purpose. So it does have
Yes.
the positives. So let's flip it. We talked about challenges and hurdles. Since you've been in business, what would you say is your absolute biggest achievement?
Oh my goodness. Okay, can I give you two?
You can give me two. You can give me three if you want. How about that?
Oh man, let's stretch it. Okay. Well, biggest achievement number one has been to do what I was taught by my parents to do, which is to create a business that runs without you. You should never be a slave to your business. So I believe that if I were hit by a bus tomorrow, my family could hire a manager and my business would continue. And that's
That's awesome.
because I have put systems in place. We have processes, documented systems, platforms, and people that are so much more talented than I will ever be to run this business as if it were clockwork. So that's the first achievement. The second achievement is my team. I have a great team. I am so blessed with men and women who are talented tacticians, outside of the box thinkers, and servant leaders. And that is probably the greatest headache that many entrepreneurs face, Irv, is
Right.
finding great people.
Yeah, finding the right
Um,
people. Absolutely.
and I love my people. Finding the great people has taken time, and there's been a lot of different people that have come through the doors.
And how did you
But the
go about that
people,
process? Share with us. Like how did you attract those people that you found were just a great fit for your mission?
right, right. So I think like attracts like
Absolutely.
mindedness, right?
Yes.
So people tend to mirror their leaders. And I was very blessed to network and to find people who shared my vision and passion for servant leadership. I've had several people come to me and say, "Hey, we want to join you on this journey. Are you hiring?" That's been so fantastic.
That's
I've
awesome.
had the great opportunity to work with agencies, both domestic and international, where they have brought candidates to me. I highly recommend, if you haven't considered it for your listeners, hire an agency to do the vetting for you. There's a reason that they do what they do, and they
Right,
shoulder
right.
the liability. So those are a couple of the ways. And then just good old fashioned networking in your own backyard. Everybody knows somebody, to put out the word.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like many of my guests have always pointed out that when you're in business, you have to embrace relationships. You have to be really good at establishing relationships because that's ultimately what's going to propel you forward.
Yes. Oh, and I think that is so true for sales as well because you're selling yourself. People do
Absolutely,
business with people that they know, like, and trust. So especially in
absolutely.
the early days of launching a company, you are your brand.
So let's talk about goals real quick. Where do you see yourself in the next 2 years?
Well, I hope to double, if not triple, the size of the business. We've been on a
Okay.
very, very fast trajectory over the last couple of years. I'd like for that growth to continue. I hope to publish another book, and I would love to do a little bit more public speaking.
And how would what would the well let me go back and ask this question. So if you had the proper resources in place and the proper support in place, whether it's financing or otherwise, what would you change for your business tomorrow that you're confident would propel you to those levels that you want to get to in the next 2 years?
Oh, that's a great question. We would put more platforms and systems in place to increase our efficacy for our clients. I
Right.
love the use of AI and I love the use of technology. In another life, I was a CIO/CMO, and technology and AI are fantastic tools to tap into to accomplish rapid growth. So we would invest in our infrastructure for sure.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, Amber, can't thank you enough. It's been great learning about Far Beyond Marketing and how you're changing the lives of entrepreneurs and others that, quite simply just connect with you. And speaking of connecting, for those that want to connect with you, how would they find you?
You can find me online at ambergaige.com or farbeyondmarketing.com. And we're on all the social media platforms. So hit me up.
And before we go, what's the name of your best-selling book? Let the public know.
Oh, sure. It's the Far Beyond Marketing Guidebook: How to Stop Being Duped by Bad Marketing.
That's a great title. Did you come up with that?
Of course.
Oh, I thought maybe the publisher might have had a little input in that, but I think it's pretty catchy. Amber, once again, thank you for joining us and sharing your story. For those of you that are listening, we thank you for joining us today as well. And be sure to subscribe and tune in for more inspiring business spotlights. Until next time, I'm your host, Irv Cruz. We'll see you on the next Credit Bank Small Business Spotlight. Amber, thank you once again and wish you enormous success going forward.
Blessings to you, Irv.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, click here to watch another exciting episode.